How do you politely tell guests that they overstayed their welcome? My wife's college friends were supposed to visit for a weekend. That was 4 months ago. Brad and Cheryl arrived with 2 suitcases for their 3-day stay that somehow included formal wear, winter coats, and a coffee maker. Hotels are so impersonal, Cheryl said, unpacking their entire medicine cabinet into our guest bathroom. We wanted quality time with you guys. The first week was fine. Old stories, late night drinks, remembering why we'd been friends, but Sunday came and went without packing. Mind if we extend a bit? Brad asked Monday morning, already dressed in my robe, eating cereal from my favorite bowl. Cheryl has some remote meetings, and your Wi-Fi is better than our Airbnb would have. They never booked an Airbnb. I found out later they'd been evicted from their apartment 2 months earlier and had been couch surfing through their contact list. We were stop number 4, but apparently the most comfortable. Our guest room became their office. Our kitchen became Cheryl's yoga studio. Our living room became Brad's permanent PlayStation zone. Week 3, I tried being subtle. So what's your timeline looking like? I asked. Over dinner they hadn't helped prepare. Oh, we're flexible, Cheryl said brightly, pouring herself more of our wine. This is like a working vacation for us. My wife Sarah, paralyzed by politeness, kept making excuses for them. They're going through something, she'd whisper at night, while Brad's snoring penetrated our walls. We can't just kick them out. By month 2, they'd established dominance. Brad rearranged our furniture for better gaming angles. Cheryl threw out our coffee to make room for her special blend. They invited their friends over without asking, hosted a book club in our living room, and started receiving mail at our address. The mail was the warning sign I ignored. I tried being direct. Guys, we need to discuss your departure date. Brad laughed. Bro, we're family. Family doesn't have departure dates. We weren't family. We were barely friends anymore. They were parasites who'd learned our routines and exploited every politeness. They ate our food, used our streaming services, and somehow made us feel guilty for wanting our house back. Month 3, I started getting creative. I changed the Wi-Fi password daily, claiming technical issues. They bought their own router. I said we were fumigating. They said they'd tough it out with us. I mentioned my mother was moving in. They offered to share the guest room with her. The breakthrough came when I discovered Cheryl's Instagram. She'd been posting photos of our home, calling it their new place, and thanking the universe for manifesting this abundance. Brad had updated his LinkedIn to show our address. They weren't visiting. They'd moved in without our permission. That's when I stopped being polite. I hired a lawyer friend to send them a formal eviction notice. 30 days to vacate. Cheryl cried, saying we were heartless. Brad called us fake friends. Sarah felt terrible until she found out they'd been selling her jewelry on eBay, claiming she'd given it to them, but they didn't leave. They knew tenant laws, knew that after 30 days of residence, we'd need court proceedings to remove them. They'd done this before. We were just their latest victims, so I got creative differently. I invited my brother to stay, the one who practices drums at 5 a.m. I signed up for every religious group to make house calls, scheduling them during Brad's gaming tournaments. I cooked fish every night, knowing Cheryl was allergic to the smell. I replaced all the toilet paper with single ply, all the towels with sandpaper rough ones from the dollar store, but the masterstroke was hiring actors. I found 3 drama students who needed cheap rent and offered them our basement for free if they'd make Brad and Cheryl uncomfortable. They played a polyamorous throuple who practiced interpretive dance at midnight, held seances in the backyard, and constantly asked Brad and Cheryl to join their love circle. Within a week, Brad complained about the weird energy. Within 2 weeks, Cheryl said the house was affecting her chakras. By week 3, they announced they'd found a better situation with other friends. We helped them pack with enthusiasm that bordered on aggressive. I carried their boxes to their car while Sarah changed the locks behind us. They left at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, exactly 127 days after arriving. Sarah and I sat in our empty, quiet house and cried with relief. We deep cleaned everything, sage smudged for good measure, and established a new house rule: no overnight guests for more than 2 nights without a signed agreement, including departure date. 6 months later, we got a message from another couple asking if Brad and Cheryl had stayed with us and how we got them to leave. I sent them the contact information for the drama students who'd turned their method into a business. Uncomfortable housemates, guaranteed guest removal in 30 days or less. Sometimes being polite is the problem. Sometimes you need to be creatively impolite to reclaim your space from people who mistake kindness for weakness.